It's a combination of everything. It still mirrors what we do today in all reality, and it also mirrored what we'd done at Valley. So you start learning to fly the aeroplane first, very straightforward stuff. There's nothing truly new, you're just doing it in something bigger, faster, more powerful, more complex. First stuff was all basic flying, so airborne out, operating the aeroplane, basic aerobatics. Biggest thing I always found was landing the aeroplane. Very different technique to the Hawk. So in a Hawk you point at the numbers at the runway, you use the throttle to control the speed, and you drive the aeroplane at the numbers, and just before you land you arrest the rate of descent, flare the aeroplane, and it touches down. The F-4 was almost the opposite. So you flew angle of attack, which meant the nose was always pointing upwards. The speed was controlled with the stick, or the angle of attack was controlled with the stick, and then the power defined where you actually went. So you'd come around the corner with the nose pointing in the air and your backside driving itself at the numbers of the runway. So it's quite a different set of feelings and hand and arm movements to get the aeroplane to land.
Yeah.
Once you'd learnt the basics, then you went off and started to learn intercepts. Very simple intercepts to start with, so just an intercept, 40-mile split normally. Drive two aeroplanes, one at the other. Initially you'd always try and get just behind the other aircraft and roll out at a mile. And then as you work from there, you do attacks in the stern, attacks on the beam, and then attacks in the front sector, and then attacks in the front sector that worked out turning around to come back into the rear sector. All done at medium level to start with. The interesting bit was you'd go off with a staff navigator with a pair. Your crew student navigator would be in the other aeroplane with a staff pilot, and you'd go off and do intercepts with each other, and then the next trip you'd throw the student in the back, and then we'd go off on our own and do the same sortie again against a staff pair. So it was really good fun. One of the memorable things was trip 2 in the F-4 with the student pilot, the student navigator in the back, was the 5th sortie you flew, and it was a full performance reheat climb to 40,000 feet, supersonic and back home again. And it was just two of us in the aeroplane giggling most of the way, to be honest. It was fabulous. So yeah, you learnt very much to trust your nav, and flying with a student nav was really, really useful as well, because you had to trust each other, and it's very different from having a staff man in the back, where you always feel you can rely on them, to being on your own out there, sort of left on your own as a pair and working together.